Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on DIY Chris. I'm Chris, and in this episode we are going to be building a Commodore board. Actually, we're not going to be building the board. The board's already here. We're going to be populating it with all of the components that we need in order for it to actually do stuff, right? Because right now, it is just a bunch of connections with a bunch of places for you to put things to connect to those connections, right? So the way I like to start with populating these, while it might be tempting to go ahead and put in all the IC sockets first, and the joystick ports and the cartridge connector, the capacitors, there is a way to make this whole process easier on you. And because you're working with so many components that you have to populate onto this board, it's going to be easiest to start with the lowest profile component first, right? So what I mean by that is the ones that are the lowest to the board go first, and then we start to build up, right? So we start with resistors, right? Because these are really, really low profile. They're very thin. And then after the resistors, we will move on to the axial capacitors that are the small ones. And what I mean by those are the ones that sit here that kind of look like resistors, but they're capacitors. And then after that, we'll probably do these ferrite beads because they're a little thicker than the resistors. And the reason that we're doing this is because when we take these resistors and we stick them through, we want to be able to turn the board over and have them not fall out. We want the resistors to kind of push themselves up against the board when the board is turned over, so that they're nice and snug up against the board when you're actually doing the soldering. So if we were to put these first, these would add maybe, I don't know, a millimeter or two of space between. And the resistors would then sit off the board just a little bit when you tried to solder them. So we won't add these yet. And yeah, so what I also have here to help me with my journey is I have this, I created these little resistor band color code cards to help me cheat, because as many times as I have, looked at resistors, I still have trouble remembering what the values are, even though they're very, very simple. You've got 3 bands to resistors. If your resistor is a non-precision resistor, there are resistors that have more bands, and those are usually for a lower tolerance, and they're more precise, and those are usually also a different color. So usually start off with the first band, right? So for like a 1K resistor, the first band color would be 1, obviously, and then the second one would be 0, and then the multiplier is how many times you want to multiply this 10 times, right? So to get 10K, 1K, you would do black, brown, and red, because that multiplies 10 times 100, which is 1K. Well, I actually did that math in my head correctly. Okay. Or maybe I just remembered what a 10K resistor color code was. Or sorry, 1K. I keep wanting to say 10K. Anyways, so that's basically how that works. And then I also have the C64 service manual. There's a very handy thing in here called the parts list. And that's on page 24 of this manual. And that is going to tell us where all of our components are supposed to go. And since we're starting with the resistors on page 24, see there's also the next page, which talks about mostly the capacitors and some other miscellaneous things, such as the coils, the inductors, the connectors, and but yeah. So resistors, we'll start here, and we'll go down this list. And these are 2 columns. So we've got R1 through R19, which, there are a couple skipped. But then we're going to do all of these, all of these, all of these, all of these. A lot of people actually end up forgetting this jumper wire, because what will happen is I'll have the whole kit that I ship out, and then they'll start connecting the resistors up like they're supposed to be connected. But because they don't follow this part list or whatever, they forget to connect the jumpers that are not resistors. So in this case, I was actually thinking about ordering some 0K resistors, just so that we don't have to worry about these jumper bridges. But what we'll do is we'll connect a jumper bridge here, and then another jumper bridge over here, R26. Okay, so R26 and an E1 to E3, or yeah, E3 is going to be a jumper bridge. And that one's not even listed in here because this is literally to select PAL or NTSC. So let me quit talking for now. What we'll do is we will start with, well, let's start with the 3.3K resistors. And the way I like to do this is I have this, these resistor benders that I started printing out. And I think as far as these go, they can be bent. First, let me try this here. This might be too aggressive. And this is not the right place to put this, by the way. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'll try another. Yeah, this is, I'm going to have to get more 3.3K resistors because I'm very picky about how this all looks. So you guys are going to see me make a lot of decisions that are based on aesthetics versus functionality. But I will never compromise functionality for aesthetics. So if my aesthetic requirements go against the functionality of something, I will definitely modify my aesthetics. Okay, so the first 3.3K resistor is R1. All right, so we're going to have to find R1, which is right up here, actually. So what we'll do is we'll just throw that in. And, you know, the best way to do this is to have something that you can set the board on that's going to give it some height so that you don't have to worry about your board because you got to stick your resistors through. So let me see what I got. Actually, you know what I can do? Is I can use these. Okay. That works. All right. Now we're really ready. Okay, so I'm going to find the next 3.3K and see if we can place that. Actually, the next three of them, because there's only 4 of them, the next 3.3K resistors are R43, 44, and 45. And R43 R43, R44, and R45 are all right there. So let's go ahead and do this. And you'll also notice that I turn them a specific way. Resistors are not polarized, so you can put them in however you like. But I like to follow some standard that I've set for myself like a long time ago. And that is the gold band, the last band in the resistor, is always going to be facing like into the positive direction when you're looking on a grid. So, or not the positive, but in my mind, okay, gold is going to go this way or it's going to come down. All right. So I like to read from left to right, and I like to look from top to bottom. So when I'm looking at color values, for instance, if you wanted to determine what these like values of these resistors are, it'd be a lot easier to be like, oh, well, you know, you're reading from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, and left to right, rather than trying to figure out, oh, which direction is this one going? No. So I just like to keep them all the same direction. So the next ones are going to be the 1.5K, and that's going to be starting off with R2. So I'll put that one in. R2 was here. And the next 1.5K is R51. R51 is right here. And some of these are going to be tough to find because there's so many numbers on this board. The next one we have is 10K. All right, and that's orange, black, or sorry, brown, black, orange. Because remember on this card, brown is 1, black is 0, and then orange times 1K. And if we've got 10 times 1K, we have 10K. And the reason I know what these resistors are is because I have them spread out in a specific order and grouped together. So I have prepared myself for this. R3 is going to be the first 10K resistor. R3. R3. There it is. Okay, so that's going to go like this. Oops, R3. And then the next 10K is going to be R7. R7, which is right here. Cool. All right, next we've got 1K resistors. And that is going to start us off with R4. R4 is right here. And then we've got R6. R6, where are you? I'm not going to be far from here. R6 is right here. Right, and then we've got R7. Oops, nope, that's a 10K. 1K, R16. 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 Let me find you. What is happening? 5. Probably just stuck somewhere behind something that I'm not looking at. I know you guys are probably seeing it and screaming at me. Oh, here it is. There we go. R16. Sweet. Alright, next one is R28. R28. That is right here. And then we've got R29. right here. And then R30. And then R36. It's right here. And R38. R38. R37. R31. Maybe it should be here somewhere. If R37's over here, then R38 should be somewhere close by, right? R39 is way over here. So R38 could be over here somewhere too. R27. C. R38, there it is. Okay, we got one more 1K resistor, and that's going to be R100, and I did see that one earlier. That one's sneaky, it's right here. Change this way. Okay. That's it for the 1Ks. And we've got a 560 ohm. And that one is R5. And that one is right here. Cool. Next we've got two 2.7Ks. And the 2.7K, the first one, is going to be R17. That was over here somewhere, if I remember correctly. Somewhere over here. And R17. B17. R39. Where are you? R37. R17. And the other one is going to be R37. I know where that one is because I just saw it. This is like playing that memory game where you look at things and then you have to turn the cards around. Alright. Now, what's next? 15K. Only one of those. and that's R19, which is right next to R17, by the way, which is right here. Right. So now we got the 180s, I believe. Oh, the 390s. 390 ohm. There are two of them. One of them is R39. R39 is close by. R39 is over here. And then we've got R53. R53 happens to be right here. Cool. And actually, let me turn these around. Right. Now what's next? This would be the 180 ohm. Right, brown, gray, brown. 18 times 10. It's 180, yep. So this is 180, and that one's going to go to R31, which is right here. Then we've got two 47K, yellow, purple, orange. Okay, 47K. So the first 47K goes to R33, which is right here. And the next one goes to R34, which is actually right above it. Then there. Okay, next, 470K, R35. R35. R35 is just at the bottom here. Cool. All right, what do we have next? We have two 1 mega ohm resistors, and they go, let's see, what's the first one? R41. Which is right here. And R50. R50, which is right here. Okay, two more resistors left. So we've got an 82 ohm resistor right here. And that one's going to go R42. R42, which is right here. And one more. That is going to be a 10K. Orange, black, that's not right. not what it's supposed to be, I don't think. Just looking at the board, I feel like diode. 1, 2, 4 resistors there, 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. We've got this one, these two, these three. And we've got, oh, we're missing R52, which is a 300. And then there's no way. Oh, wait. It's purple, I think. Which makes it even more wrong. Orange. Ah, that is 300. Holy crap. Starting to see things. Alright. That's all the resistors that we're going to put on this board. So, should we just try to flip it? The great thing about the resistor bender is that when the resistors are bent using that tool, they are very intensely bent. They kind of stick in the holes. They don't just fall out, which is good. So let's go ahead and solder some resistors. Alright, so I'm going to clip these now. I can find... Alright, so... I like to clip these as close to the board as possible. Keeps the board nice and smooth. And I also like to save these clippings because they actually are quite nice to use as jumpers. Oh, shit. Okay, so this can happen. We'll fix that in a minute, but it looks like it only happened once, so that's good. I was wondering why these were so short. Like, I only did resistors, and all the resistors are pretty much the same length. So... But yeah, well, what I was saying is that the clippings from the leads from the resistors are really good for creating jumpers when you don't, you don't want to have to cannibalize a resistor to get a good lead for a jumper if you don't have to. So I usually save all of these, put them in a bin, and I don't know, use them eventually. Probably use them in this video here when we do the jumpers. Look at how many there are. It's a lot. Okay. Now, to fix this, what we have to do is we have to heat up one side at a time, and the resistor gets hot really fast, so we have to be really careful not to burn ourselves. So I'm just heating up one end at a time. Ow. And I am now going to use these to help pull it through. Ooh, that's one side. Okay, I am not super excited about that, but it is something that's going to work. If I was really anal about it, I could totally desolder this resistor altogether and just redo it, but I'm good. All right. So that's a board populated with all of the resistors. Doesn't look much different, right? And when we turn it upside down, we still have plenty of space for adding more stuff. So now what I want to do is I want to take two of these, just so that we don't forget later. I'm going to take two of these, and I'm going to use the resistor bender in the same place here, and I'm going to just bend these so that I get a nice little jumper. Okay, that's one. And another. All right. So now we're going to put one jumper goes here. Oops. One goes here. And the other is, I believe, R26, which is right here. So these I'm just going to hold while I turn the board over, and I'm going to just bend these out a little bit so they stay, because, see, this is where the problem comes in, because these technically I should have done first, because they're literally the closest thing to the board. So those should have been done first before the resistors. And even like the diodes should have probably been done before the resistors, now that I think of it. There's only a few diodes, maybe even two. Actually, that's not true. There are different types of diodes. So all right. These. All right. Okay, now we've got our jumpers connected. Got all of our resistors. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll do the ferrite beads. And actually, next video we'll do the diodes, which is going to be here and here, and the rectifier diodes, which are going to be over here. And we'll probably do the ferrite beads and the capacitors, the axial ones, okay? Yep, that'll be the next video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I actually thought about putting breaks or chapter markers in the video to kind of, for each resistor, so that, you know, if you wanted to kind of skip ahead to see where the resistors are so you don't have to find them, maybe that would be a cool idea to do. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So, yeah, so next episode we'll do ferrite beads, capacitors, and diodes. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, comments go down below, and don't forget to subscribe and like and click the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys next time.